All right. The next card you have is your immediate future. So over the next few weeks, throughout the month of December, you have the Star card, which is beautiful. The Star card is one of my favorite cards in the deck. It's also the card of Aquarius. So it could be you're dealing with an Aquarius or maybe an air sign, an Aquarius, Libra. And it's very interesting too because the Star here, sorry, Gemini, I don't know why I left that out. It's very interesting too because the Star card's almost like coming in when you need it most. The Star is hope, it's inspiration, it's about wishing upon a star, so to speak. The Star card again is one of my favorite because this is you feeling inside very well. It's feeling this self-esteem bloom. It's also generosity card, which both of these are almost textbook definition generosity cards, which tells me if you're single, the Star says, look, you're hoping for it, you're manifesting it, you're thinking positive, thoughts, you're putting that out into the universe, but you're also thinking positive thoughts internally as well. Even though these two cards in the beginning of December seem a little more critical, self-critical, a little more, the Tower could symbolize self-sabotage at some point, but it's also somebody just having this wall up against their heart. And the Star is saying, give it a few weeks. Like, you've got the hope. You're lining things up the way you want. You're looking at things the right way. You're transforming your thought process just on love. You're transforming, again, it could be your physical appearance. And the Star is saying, look, enjoy that, harness that energy. What could be more beautiful than a shining star, which throughout December, I feel like, Leo, you're going to pick up slowly and slowly and slowly and glow and glow. You're going to shine brighter and brighter and brighter. Shine, who doesn't love staring at the stars? Who doesn't love dreaming about the stars? Who doesn't love, romance under the stars, right? So the Star card, if you're single, is definitely a good place to be. It also means that you may meet that one person who then you can move on to, this abundance of passion, abundance of love, abundance of possibilities. But the Star card also says, look, it's about inspiration, and somebody may come along who inspires you to be the best you can be. Because let's face it, like we said here, that's all you're looking for is somebody who's genuine with you and somebody you can be genuine with. And the Star says, look, the possibilities are here. You just have to keep that hope alive. And you're going to feel more generous with your heart and your romance. And these walls are going to start coming down the more you pursue and get out there through the month of December. If you're looking reconciled, this is a turn in the situation because this says this rebirth of the Death card may be possible throughout December. You may start getting the answers you want. It may be that you have been a little paranoid on some of it. Now, I'm sure some of you are going to message me and say, no, they were completely awful. Well, if they were that awful, then maybe reconciliation is not the best decision, right? But the Star card says at some point there is this hope and inspiration you guys could get together. Now, maybe it is some sort of need, like I said before. Maybe you guys don't want to go out like that. Maybe you don't want to be the couple who broke up because of an affair. Maybe you feel like you have a bigger connection than that. It could be anything. It could be, white lies. It could be dishonesty about money. And it could be, Leo, that either it's worse than you thought, or it's not as bad as you thought, because like I said, the Tower's internal. So maybe after you get some clarity and some insight about this, you'll realize maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought, or maybe hope is still alive and this relationship could have a rebirth and start over. The next card you have is anything external, so anything tangible throughout the month of December. It could happen in the beginning, the middle, the end. It could happen one day. It could happen the entire month. This is just something that you might bump into along the road. You have the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is about somebody who's kind of prioritizing. So if you're single, this says you're going, okay, I'm going to meet somebody amazing. I know that. How am I going to fit this into my life? What am I going to do? And it's very interesting because I said you might have two people that you're dealing with, or decisions to make. Like you've got somebody in the friend zone and maybe somebody a little more in the lust zone or whatever. However, I do feel like the rising star will kind of come to the surface, but Sorry, I'm a little stuffed up, so I keep hearing myself clog up a little bit, so I'm sorry about that. So the Seven of Wands is saying, look, you need to get your priorities straight, okay? Let's say you are down to two people, or let's say there is one person and they're showing you one side of themselves, which is the lustful, and one side of themselves, which is the friendship, and you want more of the happy medium. The Seven is saying, look, you need to figure out what it is you want. You need this clarity of the Queen. That's why you're coming in this month that way. Because you need to see, is this somebody who wants more than just a lustful relationship? Is this somebody who wants more than just a friendship? But you also want these burdens lifted. You want this to where, you know, you're not holding on to this. This is spread out and you can kind of push through it. This is somebody who's in there. This is somebody on your team. You are looking for somebody on your team, and it may come down to you've met your match. It may come down to somebody who's like, hey, you got a really good job. Guess what? I have a really good job. Hey, you don't want to have to always be the one to take care of things. Guess what? I can take care of things too. This is somebody who is coming forward, who's kind of like, I don't want to say the whole package because it's never perfect and you're never going to meet anybody who's going to fulfill every need or wish of yours. Yes, there are these amazing love stories, and yes, there are a lot of people, but it takes work. And the Seven of Wands is somebody you're going to feel willing to make something work with, but it's going to be teamwork. Now, if you're looking to reconcile, this is strategy. This is some sort of defense. So either you're figuring out that things did break down and there is a dissolution of marriage, of a relationship, whatever it comes down to. And this may be you setting up for divorce. This may be you planning to get your things back, to go for custody of the kids. I mean, I hate to say that, Leo, because, you know, I like to look at the positive side of it. But for reconciliation, you know, some of this is coming up as you got to take care of yourself. And you've got to look at this. And this star coming in as this bright hope and inspiration. That may be hope and inspiration that times are changing. And you know, at some point during this month, you're going to know that either if you reconcile, then you're going to be hopeful about it. And if you don't, then you're going to know that you're going to move on and you're going to have this transformation, this rebirth, this death of the old and in with the new. Either way, Leo, you're going to survive. But this is definitely somebody who's got their defensive strategy up. So it may just be that because you've learned some things or because you're actually getting the answers you want, you're going, okay, so now how do we move past this? What's the solution we need to work on to make things happen? The next card you have is anything internal throughout the month of December. And this is, you know, could be the beginning, the middle, end. Again, these two external you may see, feel, hear. You know, the external and you may feel the internal once during the month or the entire time. So the Chariot is the Cancer card, so you may be dealing with Cancer or water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. But the Chariot is somebody who's figuring themselves out, which goes swimmingly with the Death card here. Because if you're single, this is somebody who's trying to figure out their duality. Who do I fit with? I know who I am. I'm figuring out who I am. I know what I want. I see the clarity and the insights that I need in order to find somebody that I could pursue and really have a good relationship with. But this is about balance. You want this balance. You don't want to bear these burdens anymore, Leo. Whatever. And again, this, I mean, you may not feel like that. And that may be why you're alone, because you haven't met anybody who's willing to have a 50-50 in a genuine balanced relationship with you. And this is you saying, I'm not cutting it any other way. It's going to be 50-50 in a relationship. It should be a partnership. And that's exactly what you're looking for, which is very valuable and it's very good. And it's very interesting. Even though the two is not coming up for you, I find it very interesting that there's two swords here. There's two swords here. There's two players here. It's kind of coming up to me. I don't know why two is coming up significant for me for whatever reason, but something to do with 2 weeks, 2 months, the second day of a month. But this is saying, you know, the Chariot is saying, look, this is a duality. This is you mixed with somebody else, two different personalities coming together and controlling that balance. And it's very good. This is you saying, I know who I am. I know what I'm looking for. And so we can come together and make that happen. And it's very interesting because you seem more set up to find somebody who would really work with you in a dating relationship, then maybe a commitment, then a relationship, and so forth and so forth. So the Chariot is a great card to have here because this is you really standing your ground and having your, your moral compass in check and having self-control too. Not just running for the lust, but also understanding that a friendship is key. If you're looking to reconcile, the Chariot says you need to figure out, like, if you guys can move in the same direction. The interesting thing with the Chariot is if, let's say there's a horse-drawn carriage, right? A horse-drawn chariot, right? If the horses are going in two different directions, if they have two different goals, if they're not seeing eye to eye, the carriage doesn't go anywhere. It's at a standstill or it just tugs and pulls back and forth. And this is saying you guys need to figure out a balance. But you also, because this is internal, you need to figure out a balance. If you care about this person and you want to be with them and you want to give it another chance, you have to figure out all this other stuff in order to make that happen, or else it's going to be out of balance. If you come in too critical and you're pointing fingers, you got to figure that out because you're not going to get anywhere with that. But if they come in and they're too critical of you, you have to figure that out. The Chariot is saying, look, we're not moving anywhere until we get all this taken care of. But it also takes self-control. You might be really angry. You might be, still like feeling disappointed or feeling angst or feeling upset, going through the emotions of what happens when you break up or what happens when you go through, difficult times. And so it seems like you're kind of up and down. And the Chariot's saying, okay, you're going to even out. You're going to feel a little better. You're going to feel like you have self-control. You're going to be able to have the duality of, yes, I'm angry, but I'm also willing to either work this out or I'm ready to break it up. The next two cards you have are your hopes and fears. So anything you're going to feel at the end of December. And you have the Eight of Cups and your outcome for December. And you have the Lovers. Okay, well, there you go. All right, so the Eight of Cups, this is how you're going to be feeling at the end of December. And if you're single, this is this is saying be patient, okay? The Death card also heeds the warning of be patient. Don't push things in a direction they don't need to go. This is somebody going, I'm not satisfied with the pace of how things are going. It's not moving as fast. It feels like it's there's stagnation here. And so the Eight of Cups is saying, look, if you're single, you may all of a sudden come upon this star, right? Because this is such a shining star and it's going to hit you in December, that you're going to be like, whoa, I really like this person. I feel like they could be somebody significant in my life. Like the right person stepped up and joined the realm of what you're looking for. And you could really have this long nights with, hot cocoa and board games or whatever. This person's going to be very significant in your life. But at some point you may be feeling like, come on, what are you doing? We really like each other. Or you may be, if it is somebody who seems like they're more in the friend zone, you may be like, hey, are we in the friend zone or what? Like, you say you like me, but you treat me like we've known each other for 20 years and you're not romantic or anything. So just be careful. Don't try and push it because you've been slow going. You've been taking your time. You've been willing to make the changes to get what you want and the sacrifices to get what you want. And you may all of a sudden have the insight before this other person does, or they may say things, but they're not showing you the actions as quickly. Just be patient because, what better outcome than the Lovers, right? So if you're looking to reconcile, the Eight of Cups also says you may not get the answers that you want, or you may not get the communication you want, or you may decide you're not going to communicate with them and you're on a stalemate. Because the Eight of Cups is kind of saying, I'm not interested in anything else you have to say. I'm not interested in moving forward with this. I'm not happy about it. But what's interesting too is you have the opposite because this is force. And so you may be trying to force something or they may be trying to force something to happen. Again, this is internal. So this is, you may be feeling like, hey, we've been communicating, but now we're not, like, nothing's going on. We're just at a standstill. I'm not getting answers. He or she's agreed to talk, but we're not talking about anything. We're just kind of not moving. Again, stagnation. You're just sitting still. And some of you, again, I think you may not be able to get in contact with them, or they're contacting you, and you're not wanting to talk, or you feel like you're not getting the straight answers, and you're like, until you can be straight up with me, it's not going to happen. We're not going to have this conversation. However, you both have the outcome of the lover. So let's start with reconciliation. If you're looking to reconcile, it's very interesting because these two cards right here, this is a Cancer card and this is the Gemini card. And you have, Cancer, which is a water sign, and Gemini, which is an air sign. And so, which is very interesting because these are both about duality. So it's about finding somebody who kind of matches. And I wouldn't say twin flame. If the Two of Cups was here, I might think that it was like the twin flame because that's very much that. But the Lovers is very positive. This is about pairing. It's about making things happen. If you're looking to reconcile, like I said, we'll start with you. This is saying, look, there's two of you. You're two different personalities. And you're going to have to learn to come together if this is what you really want. And it's based on values, which is very interesting because these two cards talk about values. So somewhere here, if you're looking to reconcile, you guys really have to figure out what's important to you. Some of you want to save face. Like you don't want to, you're kind of like, no, I don't give up. I don't, let things result in, I don't let things go, if I feel like there's still a connection here. I'm not, and you may be telling this person, I'm not going to let it go, even if they did betray you, or vice versa. They may be saying to you, look, you really hurt me, but I'm not willing to let you go. Somewhere here, somebody's saying, even with all of our difficulties, even with everything we've been through, I love you. And you may come in the beginning of the month like ready to split it off, ready to be done, but then you're going to hit this hope and inspiration. And then you're going to figure out that you guys could move together, but you've got to both be on track. And this is saying in the end, there's a possibility that you guys could get it together and that you guys could find love again. But there's some work here, Leo. If you're looking to reconcile, there's some work here. And if you're not willing to put in the work, then I would make the change, rebirth, and then view this again as somebody who is single. If you are single, this is a beautiful card because it's actually a beautiful card for both of you. And I'm not trying to be harsh, Leo, and saying that you can't reconcile. I mean, again, this is general, but there's some difficult things here. And some of you know, like, you have some major steps to get through before you get to this Lover's card. It's not that it's not possible. I mean, God, you have the Star in the street, which she's been popping up a lot this month for a lot of signs, which is very good. It's very positive energy. But to end with the Lovers, it's a possibility for you both. If you're single, this is a pairing. This is finding somebody. So even if you have these two people you're weighing, and again, the number 2, for whatever reason, is striking out to me because even here, it's like firmly, like you've got two choices, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 days. The Star is beautiful. And then, so getting through these choices, decisions, values, etc., you meet the shining star and you end up with the Lover. So if you're single, I mean, hi, we're the Lovers. That's a good place to be. And then with that comes this abundance of the 10 of coins, of almost feeling that overwhelming sensation of excess, of contentment, of overwhelming satisfaction of being with somebody. I'm going to pull out 2 clarifying cards really quick, and then I will let you go. But Leo, to end with the Lovers, whether you're single or looking to reconcile, is definitely an amazing place to be. Like I said, don't be scared of this Death card. Embrace it. Any changes that are coming, that need to come, are very positive. And then to have the Star in it is, unbelievable. Okay, so you have clarifying the outcome, the Knight of Cups, and clarifying the distant futures, the 9 of coins. For a second, I thought that was the 10 of coins, and I was going to say, I think maybe once this entire year I've had a clarifying card that matches the outcome. But you have the 9 and then the 10, 9 and then the 10, which is beautiful. All right, so let's do this first. The Knight of Cups on top of the Lovers. This is clarifying your outcome for the month. The Knight of Cups is somebody who's romantic. They're fanciful. They're whimsy. They're dreaming. This feather is almost like it's off of a dream catcher. So this is somebody who is dreaming, and it's like you start here going, could he or she be good for me? Let me think. Are we in the friend zone? Are we romantic? Where are we going with this? And in the end, you're going, let's do it. We're good. Let's go. We want to be lovers, hand in hand. We want to build a relationship. And the Knight is somebody who has opened themselves up to the possibility of dreams, not like, hey, knight in shining armor comes to rescue me in some big castle, but realistic dreams. And it feels like, Leo, for the first time in a long time, you're going to actually be able to see yourself progressing with somebody else by your side. If you're looking to reconcile, this also says, look, there might be hope after all. There might be some big surprises here romantically. There may be some things that you guys are going to have to figure out, but the chance of getting back to that feeling of contentment, there is real chance. The end of this month, something may come into play that you guys just realize, hey, let's just do this. Let's give it another chance. Now, the 9 of coins crowning the 10 of coins is beautiful for your distant outcome, because ironically, these are both about big time abundance, success, accomplishment. So if you're single, it's just a plethora. It's going to be a plethora of more positive energy, more relationship vibing energy. When you guys start dating, it's good, but then maybe you guys decide to commit and it's even greater. And then maybe you guys decide to have a relationship and it's even greater. This is a fulfillment of moving into things that you really want. This is accomplishing your goals in love, but this is also accomplishing your goals in other areas of your life and feeling satisfied. So you're going to feel satisfied with this person over the next few months. It's going to kind of grow into a course of feeling like love is blooming. If you're looking to reconcile, somewhere along the line here, there's an accomplishment. There's an accomplishment of getting over some sort of hump. Whatever this is, whatever this betrayal is, or this clarity you need, you're going to feel like you have the answers you seek. Now you can make decisions. Now you can base it on love instead of being paranoid about things or about feeling angry or upset. And it may just be that you guys start communicating. There may have been a cut of communication altogether. Either you didn't want to have anything to do with them and talk to them, or they didn't want to talk to you, but you still know you're connected. And the 9 of coins is also saying, look, you can have that abundance as well. But Leo, you got to take care of the front of the house too, because if everything breaks down, you've got to build from the beginning. But the 9 is saying, look, whether you're single or looking to reconcile, something is definitely blooming here. And it ends on a positive note.